As a Kyrgyz Soviet statesman and political figure, he was able to refuse to implement the Soviet Union's plan for grain procurement, and helped 100,000 Kazakhs and his people escape from hunger, and for which he was subjected to torture and execution. Yusup Abdrakhmanov was born on December 21, 1901. He graduated from a 3-grade Russian native school as a 13-year-old teenager and entered the village Sazanovka. With the outbreak of the 1916 uprising, the family was forced, like many Kyrgyz families, to flee to western China. The father died of typhus, and the mother and 7 closest relatives died unable to bear the hardships along the way. Left orphaned at the age of 15, together with his younger brother, he returned to his homeland and began to engage in hard work. Having survived these difficult periods in his life, Yusup grew courageous and was able to rise to the rank of politician. During his post, he wanted to transform the Kyrgyz Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic into a Union Republic, and spoke skeptically about the actions of the Soviet government.
At the same time, the Soviet Union created a decree on the seizure of surpluses. Livestock began to be confiscated from the Kazakhs, that is, the basis of life for the nomads. And after the grain procurement plan, the condition of the people in Kazakhstan worsened further. In Kazakhstan, the estimated losses due to the famine reach 1,750,000 people. Facts about cannibalism were revealed. Parents sold their children for food, and along the city streets one could find people exhausted from depletion. Many Kazakhstanis began to leave their native land, and so some of them ended up in the territories of Kyrgyzstan. A second city grew up near Frunze, a city of yurts of Kazakh citizens who moved here from hunger and poverty. This is the result of Philip's work. Is it just him? The chairman of the government, SNK, Council of People's Commissars, Yusup Abdrakhmanov, made this entry in his diary on February 25, 1932, while in Frunze. Moreover, the Soviet political leadership pretended that there was no hunger in the country. Therefore, international humanitarian aid did not reach the country, and the consequences of the tragedy became even more catastrophic. To save them, more drastic and large-scale measures were required throughout the country. But the Soviet government remained stubbornly silent, demanding that grain and meat procurement plans be exceeded. But great help still came. She came from where no one was waiting. It came from Kyrgyz politicians who have not lost their conscience and sense of compassion. In these tragic days, the chairman of the Council of People's Commissars of the Kyrgyz Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic, 32-year-old Yusup Abdrakhmanov, took responsibility. With his characteristic firmness and persistence, he convinced the party leadership of the republic to unbook warehouses with grain that were awaiting shipment for export. Everyone understood perfectly well how such a courageous decision of the young prime minister could end for them. And they made self-sacrifice. They singled them out. Food to help street Kazakh children and Kazakh refugees. Thus, tens of thousands of starving people were saved from imminent death. It should be noted that in that system all decisions had to be coordinated with the regional center, which in turn had to send an application to the Union Center. Any decisions had to be made on the basis of Moscow's decisions. Punishment for these actions to save the hungry followed immediately. At the plenum of the Kharobkom of the party in 1933, Abdrakhmanov was given a severe party reprimand for disrupting grain procurements, and he was removed from all his posts. He suffered the fate of all normal people who did not want to submit to senseless and inhumane political decisions. He was shot on November 5, 1938. It is better that we be removed for failure to fulfill the plan than for the fact that we brought the republic to the position of Kazakhstan. Both agreed with this. Abdrakhmanov's internationalism and culture, which is ahead of its time, still evoke admiration today. He never divided people. He respected the uniqueness, history, and culture of each people.